클릭해주셔서 감사합니다.
Hello everyone, I'm Raisewa JK Day. In the previous lecture, we talked about incentives and human behavior. Today we are going to explore one of the most famous ideas in all of economics, supply and demand. Why does the price of something suddenly increase? Why do concert tickets become expensive? Why do housing prices rise? Why do some products become cheaper over time? Behind many of these questions is one simple economic principle, supply and demand. Today we will understand how markets work, why prices change, and how human choices shape the economy every day. Let's begin. First, what is demand? Demand means how much people want to buy something at different prices. In general, when prices go down, people want to buy more, and when prices go up, people usually buy less. For example, imagine your favorite coffee costs $1. You might buy coffee every day, but what if the price suddenly becomes $20? Most people would stop buying it regularly. This is the law of demand. As price rises, quantity demanded usually falls. As price falls, quantity demanded usually rises. Now let's talk about supply. Supply means how much producers are willing to sell at different prices. In general, when prices rise, companies want to produce more. Why? Because higher prices often mean higher profits. Suppose a company sells smartphones. If smartphone prices increase, producing more phones becomes more attractive. This is the law of supply. As price rises, quantity supplied usually rises. As price falls, quantity supplied usually falls. Now here is the important part. Prices are determined by the interaction between supply and demand, not by only consumers, not by only companies. Both sides influence the market. This interaction creates what economists call equilibrium price. Equilibrium is the point where supply and demand meet. At that point, the amount buyers want equals the amount sellers want to sell. Markets naturally move toward this balance. Let's look at a real-world example. Suppose a famous singer announces a concert. Suddenly, millions of fans want tickets. Demand explodes, but the number of seats is limited. Supply remains almost the same. What happens? Ticket prices rise. Why? Because too many people want something limited. Now imagine the opposite situation. Suppose a company produces too many smartphones but consumers are not interested. Supply becomes larger than demand. What happens? Prices fall. The company lowers prices to attract buyers. Again, supply and demand. Now let's think about housing prices. Why do houses become extremely expensive in some cities? Usually because demand rises faster than supply. More people want to live there, but land and housing construction are limited. When supply cannot keep up with demand, prices increase. This is one reason large cities often have inexpensive housing markets. Supply and demand also explain shortages. Imagine a natural disaster suddenly destroys part of a country's food supply. Now there is less food available. Supply decreases, but people still need food. Demand remains strong. As a result, prices rise. This is why prices often increase during crisis. Now here is something important. Prices themselves create incentives. When prices rise, producers are encouraged to produce more. When prices fall, producers may reduce production. In this way, markets constantly adjust themselves. Prices send signals. They communicate information about scarcity and demand. However, real markets are not always perfect. Sometimes governments intervene. For example, governments may set price ceilings. A price ceiling is a legal maximum price. For example, rent control. The government may try to keep housing affordable, but economists often debate the side effects. If prices are forced too low, suppliers may stop producing enough. This can create shortages. Governments may also set price floors. A price floor is a legal minimum price. For example, minimum wage laws. Again, economists debate the benefits and trade-offs. Another important point is that supply and demand are influenced by many factors besides price. Demand can change because of trends, advertising, income changes, consumer preferences, population growth. Supply can change because of technology, production costs, natural disasters, taxes, government regulation. Markets are always changing because human society is always changing. Now let's connect these to your own life. Every time you buy something, you participate in the market. When you choose one product over another, you influence demand. When millions of people make similar choices, entire industries change. Consumer behavior shapes markets, and markets shape society. This is one reason economics is so powerful. Economics helps explain not only prices but also human interaction itself. Supply and demand are not just abstract graphs in textbooks, they are part of daily life. Food prices, gas prices, rent, concert tickets, technology products. All of these are constantly changing because of supply and demand. So let's summarize today's lecture. Demand is how much consumers want to buy. Supply is how much producers want to sell. Prices are determined by the interaction between supply and demand. When demand rises faster than supply, prices usually increase. When supply rises faster than demand, prices usually fall. Markets constantly move toward equilibrium, and prices themselves influence human behavior and economic decisions. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this lecture, please like and subscribe. And in the next video, we will discuss another major topic in economics. Why do governments intervene in the economy? See you next time.